Hey, what is up, everybody? Today's episode is a little bit different than ones that we have done in the past. It's actually a really fun one to shoot. And while you're watching this, if you would please let me know in the comments, or let us know in the comments, if this is something that you enjoyed and you'd like to see more of. We'd love to line up some more episodes like this, do some more collaborations, all that good stuff. So definitely let us know. But basically what happened is was talking with the Dude Grows guys. And if you haven't checked out Dude Grows, you definitely should. They're awesome. They put out a bunch of content every single day. So they put out, I think a new episode every single day. DudeGrows.com. You can check them out on their website. You can check them out on YouTube. They also have an Instagram. Super cool. So they're up in Fort Collins, or Scotty lives up in Fort Collins. So I went up, was hanging out with the dude, Scotty, and all their crew up at Scotty's little farm. He's got like goats and pigs and all that cool stuff running around. So we ended up hanging out, talking about, what got me into growing originally, different growing methods, what else? A bunch of other stuff. You're going to see all that on today's episode. And I've mentioned this in a couple other videos just right before we dive into that episode and get going. Definitely follow us on Instagram. We're putting out daily updates for the Seed to Harvest series on Instagram. So that's definitely a great place to follow us and see what's happening in between the episodes we're putting out. So that's it for the intro. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the interview, and definitely let me know if you like this style, and we will get more of these lined up.
All right, we're hitting some grow talk here. Scotty was rushing to light the J. He's doing CBD only J's though. CBD only. He's faking it. We were talking about it before the show.
Justin, if this is CBD only, I'm mad at you. All right.
You're too tired.
Oh, and we got Justin from School of Hard Nugs. What's up, man? Hanging out. If you guys haven't checked it out, schoolhardnugs.com on YouTube. You've been kicking grow videos for a while. So just gonna have you hang out on Grow Talk, man. Go through some shiz here.
Yeah, man. Hey, dude, Justin's...
Wait. What are we smoking first?
Gorilla Glue 4.
Out of your grow?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, man.
Is this a hybrid then at all? Is it considered straight? What, did you know?
Dude, I don't know much about Gorilla Glue, honestly.
What is Gorilla Glue?
I know it's
Gorilla Glue's
good.
a freak, right?
I know it's good.
It's cushy.
I'm pretty sure it's just like a freak from some herm genetics too, and it's a winner, but
Winner.
not much you can do with it breeding wise.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it a little bit here, man. You guys, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we get into it, I just want to... Justin from School of Hard Nugs is here. We're bullshitting a little bit. We've known each other for a bit. And, man, we were just talking about, like, old school cannabis stories, when you first discovered cannabis, how we use cannabis as medicine. And you've got a legit story. I would just love for you to share it with our audience. I really didn't know the whole thing, man. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I actually haven't talked about it too much, but... been wanting to, just because like the whole medical movement, I think it's huge, and it definitely has a lot of benefits.
And I got like an attorney brother that wants to, he looks at his pothead brother and goes, well, you guys just want to get stoned. And I'm like, oh, that's part of it. I want to be stoned, but it's good medicine.
For sure.
And I just want people to understand how we use it as medicine, or how you're using it. I'd like to know.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, back when I was 15, went into the doctor one day for a physical before I was getting, they do that before you go play football or whatever.
Right. I guess I'm betting that he gave you great news, right?
Right.
Win the lottery?
He's like, you have scoliosis and you need to go get some x-rays. I was like, oh, shit. So went to get some x-rays. This is, middle of maybe a few months before summer.
Sure.
And they were like, oh, you have really bad scoliosis. You need surgery this summer. I was like, there goes my summer. And so, started giving the blood, my own blood, so I could do that.
What is scoliosis, real quick?
Curvature of the spine. So like my spine was an S, basically. So instead of being, and your spine kind of does that naturally, but mine was curved side to side. So like my spine went like that.
Yeah, and
I was like, ugh.
I'll cover for you while you smoke. When you look at Justin, one of his shoulders is lower than the other. You can definitely, you can tell a little bit once he says. You can't really tell it much anymore. But he shows me he's got a huge freaking scar. I mean, a scar, 18 inches long on his back.
Straight back, like from about here to here, and then a big one on the lower part.
Well, yeah, where they insert metal rods to keep to straighten your back up. I mean, holy
shit. So essentially what happened was they fuse your spine together, and in order for the fusion to set, they have to build a metal cage around it. So So they take bone chips, like a little chisel, basically, cut your hip open. Or they don't do this
Can you
anymore.
imagine what it's like to really be a doctor? Like a doctor has a chisel set?
Dude, the picture, that's pretty much what it was. The pictures were crazy. I saw some pictures from the surgery. They had like, basically they cut my skin, pulled all the muscles away from my spine. So my spine's just there, and they have like these spreaders holding it open.
Yeah.
And it was brutal, dude. And,
Did you blow them up into like 5x7s and put them on the wall and shit?
Right, I have the X-rays still. That's actually how I ended up getting my first medical card, but do that in a second. So anyway, they fused my spine together with the bone chips, build a cage around it to set. A year later, I'm like whatever, I'm able to snowboard, all that. So that's cool.
A year later.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, take it real easy. I had to wear
respect to the doctors,
I had to
man.
wear
That's cool as fuck.
a pretty sweet back brace to school for a while.
Yeah.
Everyone thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then,
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, brother.
and so yeah, basically, fast forward. Oh, well, so then they have you on all these opiates, right? After the surgery, and getting off of those was extremely difficult. I couldn't sleep.
How old were you at the time?
15.
Okay.
And I wanted to stop taking them. I was like, these aren't good. I don't feel well.
Right.
So I ended up stopping taking them a little bit earlier and just like kind of dealing with some pain. And around that time, I was, smoking a little bit. I was like, oh, that actually helps. And this was like, 2002 maybe?
Okay.
Something like that. And but I was really young, right? Still in high school. Not supposed to be doing that. And
But I mean, it was a good pain relief, right?
it was, and I wasn't having to take opiates. I was like, that's kind of like the first time I realized maybe this could help. And medical was like 2000, I think.
Right.
Yeah, Colorado?
Yeah, so it wasn't,
Don't quote me on that, but yeah.
pretty sure. So it wasn't, and that was like very rare to get a card. So
Yeah.
you go forward a couple years, in college, I was like 19 maybe, found a doctor, went to the doctor, brought in my x-rays, like all my medical records. They're flipping through them like, we don't want to give you a card because you're
so
pretty
young,
young.
probably, yeah.
And but we can clearly see you need it. If anybody knew as you do, because I was getting like muscle spasms, they were prescribing me muscle relaxers. And just different pills.
Yeah, all sorts of pills that go through your liver.
Don't want that. Like
Yeah.
I did enough damage to my liver with alcohol.
Yeah.
And
Combining it all. Hitting it hard.
and so basically got my card, started growing, and taking on some patients, growing for some other people as well. And
I smoked some of your weed, we determined, man.
and so then went through the whole dispensary. It's a long story from there, but that's essentially when I started growing, and it was like 3 plants in a little. My first grow was a little cabinet, right? So it was a closet grow, I guess you'd call it. I was doing all the research on whatever, like Overgrow, IC Mag, all those places, THC Farmer.
What'd you think about different strains as far as for pain relief when you started growing indica versus sativa, all the hybrids? What did you find that different things work differently for you?
My first grow was some bag seed, and I was like, cool. And there wasn't much info about like what the strains were doing, this, that, and the other. I didn't even know. I was like, I know the difference between indica and sativa. Some friends had given me some seeds from, I think it was like Nirvana.
Sure. I got some seeds on it too. Yeah.
And
hey, they came to my house. All
it was
right.
called
they grew.
Blue Mystic or something. I think it was like Skunk and Blue Dream. And
I got 5-0.
Right, grew some of that shit out, and eventually, a few dispensaries started popping up, and I was able to get clones. One of them was like In Harmony Wellness.
Nice.
Derek from Incredibles is there, and Tina was super awesome too. And so they gave me, I got a bunch of genetics from them.
Derek Cummings, I believe. Shout out, inspiration for podcasting for me. He was back in the day. He did a show with Tim. I don't know, but he was
Tim Martin.
I believe so.
It
I
was,
forgot the name of the damn show. Unfortunately, JDR Radio, I think.
Yeah,
he
John
did.
Doe Radios.
So I was actually on that podcast.
Wow, man,
maybe
that's
we
what
could find
started
it for
bro?
a throwback. But no, it's inspiration for it.
Yeah,
But
you're
go,
100% right, man.
go ahead. I forgot where we're at because his gorilla glue is getting me going.
Genetics, basically. So, that's about the time I was kind of introduced to different genetics, and a little bit more information started popping up about medical, and not just like, at least for me, I don't know. Like I had done some research on forums, things like that, but I'm like, where am I ever going to find these strains? We were ordering seeds from Attitude. They'd like ship them over in DVD cases, and sometimes they get snagged. And you're like, no. And so then we ended up opening a dispensary eventually, and I just got to that's when I really found out a lot more about different genetics because I was able to hand select different seeds, have the plant count to actually crack, 50 different seeds.
That's true. Try fucking
100
pheno hunting
seeds.
with 6 seeds. Or
Right.
6 plants,
it's not as easy. You'll find something cool, but are you getting the best of the best?
Right.
Probably not,
Right.
unless the breeder's like dialed in, right?
What was the size of yours first grow? He said a cabinet. What'd you get? What'd you have? Don't exaggerate now.
I had 3,000 watts is what I had in an extra bedroom.
All right. I got 4 600s for me, so we're close.
Yeah.
I grew a male plant all summer outside, 100 yards away from the police officer's house.
No, it's just to figure out it's male.
Mine was like CFLs, so it was the closet, right? And I knocked the shelves out of it. Or it was actually a kitchen cabinet that I got from Goodwill. Pulled the shelves out, screwed some power strips to the top and to the sides.
Oh,
and got those plugs that turn
Ys.
into a.
Did you get the ones
Yep,
where it
the
wides
Ys,
out
and I had them all like taped to the strip, and there's just like lines of these things lining this cabinet. It got so hot in there.
Did you harvest?
Yeah, dude, it was great. That was that. So I ended up giving some to a guy my dad worked for, right? And he was like, "This is really good." Smoked it. Showed my dad, and I was like, "Oh no!" My dad was like, "So I heard you've been growing weed." I was like, "Oh shit." Like, I didn't want him to know. And then he's like, it's pretty good, And there's this dispensary thing happening.
Yeah.
Maybe we should open a grow and we could, just sell to these people. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then that kind of
awesome.
kickstarted
Took
my whole
off, man.
commercial cultivation. And I very quickly went from that to like a decent sized warehouse rocking 10,000 watts.
Sure.
I'm like, big learning curve.
Yeah, it's
Like, I fucked some shit up for a while. and I went from soil to hydro there, too. I was
I'm sure you see that now with people that'll run. It's hard to come out of like an 8-lighter and go into a commercial position.
It is because it starts being a management thing, just like with recharge. I have this recharge product. It's a good product. I can fucking put it in a bag and sell it to people. But then you try to fucking get 1,000 units out in a day, and it becomes a different problem. It's a management thing.
That's the unique individual. I mean, we saw that's what Moby Dill did. I think he came from like an 8-lighter to lead cultivation specialist. Is that the official?
But he's a good people person. The skills that got him fired are that he's able to manage people. Those are his skills. You have to be a grower
management skills,
and a
or
people
just tries
person.
to scare you?
No, he's one
messing
of those
with you.
guys that you look at him and he looks scary, and then you realize he's a nice guy, man.
What have you been up to on YouTube, man? I just found you have right now. This is current. You're working on the Seed to Harvest series. Is what your latest stuff is?
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about that real quick.
So that one's brought to you by seedsherenow.com.
Respect to Seeds Here Now. They've been a really cool supporter of us. That guy, James Bean, anytime I need anything, I call him up and he goes, fucking I sure, man. No problem. For the DGC, got you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they're awesome.
Respect.
So,
But we do dollars,
same
yeah.
sponsors. So they're super cool. And what we do for them is a Seed to Harvest series. So we basically, this is the second one we've done, or that we're starting, right? We had one going on, but our YouTube channel got shut down and we had to, that whole thing.
Yeah.
We're back up now, which is awesome.
Right.
But there was a whole month and a half where we just kind of sat down. We're like, we should reevaluate life. No.
The plants are still growing, YouTube.
Yeah. So, Seed to Harvest series. So we basically start from seed and grow a specific plant or two out all the way through harvest, kind of document everything we're doing along the way. This one we're using optic LEDs for it, so we're growing under a couple different cob LEDs.
Nice.
And
Legit.
ideally I would be growing them under my HPSs because I really like those. But as far
He really
as
likes
He has a
HPSs.
70s afro too, though. So what do you expect? man?
dude, those things I pull like 3 a light.
I
off of those.
understand. We were just at Moby Dill's place over in Herbal Cure, and he's got the Gavitas up
Yep,
hung on the
I've got
ceiling,
open
equal
bulbs,
space,
double enders, those things
yielding, man. So I get
but
it. I get
they're
it.
not practical for everybody. And so LEDs fill in that gap for me. It's awesome. I don't have to use super hot lights.
Yep.
And it's just like a little, tent. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Each tool, a tool for the job,
Yeah,
basically.
those Gavitas are a great commercial tool.
Oh
They
yeah,
really
yeah,
are.
but they're pinned to the ceiling, and I've got a 2-ton
50 ton,
AC
yeah.
unit, and it's
They've got 50 tons outside. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean?
yeah, no,
It's
I've got
insane.
24,000 BTUs to cool those 3 lights in a
Yeah,
CO2 burner. So it's clearly not something you could do everywhere. But anyway, the seed harvest, that's what we do. We just grow
Sweet.
out some seeds. We're doing Screaming Eagle from Duke Diamond right now.
We are familiar with the Screaming Eagle.
I got 12 of those in right now. I got one that's a little mutant. I'm rooting for that one.
How many a mutant you packed? So how many did you plant?
13, or I just germinated
Of all the
13
same Screaming Eagles?
Yep, so a whole pack.
And one's a mutant?
And one didn't germinate.
Were they femme?
And then, nope, they're regular.
Okay.
So
I wouldn't. I don't root for the mutant. Like that's where I get just like, nope, don't got time for you. Usually
Talking
it's
to a guy
gonna,
that's 5'8", all right?
usually
Man, I root
it's
for the mute.
gonna continue to be a problem. It's the plant that doesn't want to get watered as much. You got to also, you're like, damn, that one's not ready yet, but everything else is. Or that one I got to pop up on some cinder blocks because it's shorter. It always needs some
That
type
one, the
of
bud's so heavy. The
no, you want
them
them to grow fast and strong and all, for sure. And that's part of what we're doing is we're pheno hunting for the one that we want to keep because that strain's phenomenal. It's great for like anti-anxiety, medicinal use, and I like heavy indicas. So
love it.
It's got me thinking, man. I was just getting fired up about grow styles. Like maybe first and second of ADSI here, we should do like a grow off, man. Some type of grow off series. Scotty, you gonna get in on it?
Yeah.
Take us on?
And hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a grower.
Wait, you gotta have the ghost grower too. Scott has a ghost grower. Like there's ghost writers and stuff.
Okay, so he's in it, but he's got kind of a grow.
May or may not be guru.
It might be you doing the growing. Okay.
Yeah, I might have asked that. That's in Pollock if he'd like me to enter some of his in his weed in that Chip Baker Invitational we're going to.
Oh man.
I said I'd give him all the credit, man.
Well, that is coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Might have to check it.
Hey, we're back, and hey, we were just all bullshit.
Where do we go? I don't even know if we went anywhere, man.
Yeah, where am I? We were bullshitting a little bit about the olden days of growing. I was starting to ask Justin when he started growing, and we were talking about the days of right around 2008, 2009, I'll say, and we call it the Wild West days, the backpack.
09
days.
is specifically the moment because I was in retail then. So Attorney General Holder, I believe at the time, came out and said we're not going to allow our funds to be used to go after medicinal.
And you called me. The first person you called afterwards was me.
I wasn't expecting it. It was literally day and night. Like that day on, like working retail, hydro wasn't chill anymore. It was like for a while being on the floor of a freaking like stock exchange almost. Guys, I need 10 lights. I need a 10 light setup. Bam, what you got? Like it's insane.
It was
remember that, man.
Full on Wild West. So we were talking about the backpack days, man.
For sure. Yeah, so we and like that's funny. We used to call the people that would because we were running shops, right? And we had one in Denver, which real quick tangent. The laws were being passed so quickly because things were changing so fast that, before you could have on-site consumption. So we had a dispensary, we built out this whole badass lounge and like we're serving coffee. We had espresso machines. People were hanging out just like loving it.
Yeah.
And then one day they're like, no on-site consumption. And we're like, what about
That was
all
for
this?
medical card holders only, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't medical lounges.
It wasn't recreational at
amazing.
all.
Yeah.
Like
Not till 2012,
nobody
right?
was. Yeah. And so, that's like how quickly things were changing.
Right.
And so they were like just passing laws to try and keep up with how quickly people were like, holy shit.
There was dispensaries in office buildings. Remember we were talking about that one dispensary?
Yeah.
And it was just in an office building. You take the elevator up there with a backpack full of weed, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like some old dentist office or some shit.
Yes, it was awesome. It was run by like a 19-year-old kid. It was awesome.
Right. And so it was all like kind of gray area, right? Sort of. I mean, they weren't.
How gray?
They weren't like arresting people. And as long as you were within your plant count, they were pretty much like, yeah,
Right.
I get, and
Yeah.
like not going to start any fires. Like, yeah, sure, you guys are good. So we had, we'd get
Probably
patients
not gonna start any fires.
probably. And so we basically had the patients, right? And they'd get however much. And then you were able to sell your excess to dispensaries.
Yeah.
Right. And this was before they passed like that 70-30 rule being like dispensaries have to grow 70% of their own.
Right.
And you can only wholesale 30% or whatever. You can only bring on 30% of other people's. I don't know if that's changed. I haven't been in the industry since it's been a while, or like at least the dispensary industry.
Since it wasn't gray areas for you to operate in?
No, we had them when we were doing like the 70-30. We had like multiple shops, MMED, all that.
Yeah.
I got out right around or out of that industry. It just became not fun anymore, honestly. Like I really enjoy growing, but I was running the big warehouses and it was kind of a bummer.
And I will say,
like-
any junk went onto the shelf, man. There was no regulation. It very much could have been sprayed with anything, and it just went on the shelf because it was, I guess, because we were supplying the country's
What he
cannabis.
just said reinforces what I think. It took the fun out of growing for you.
Right.
It was like, oh my God, I've been to 3 spots today, been driving around all day, been working for
It's
13
true.
hours.
Even the money got to be a burden a little bit, where you're like, oh shit, I got to worry about getting robbed now.
Right.
You
Dude,
know,
yeah,
I
we
mean,
had people-
legitimately worried.
We had people like break into our shop and just like uproot plant or my gardens or whatever, like uprooting plants. I was like, those were my mother's.
Yeah.
Like, you just
Just
like
idiots,
what?
man.
Just
Just
the
people doing
alarms
dumb
blaring
shit.
and they're like running out, leaving a trail of weed leaves. The cops ended
Oh man.
ended up following the trail of weed leaves, being like, okay, here's a camera somewhere along the way. Got their license plate. Yes.
Oh my God.
I was like, damn, and they took veg plants. There were flower plants right next door. But anyway, so yeah, I used to be able to backpack. Sorry,
Sure.
that was a little.
Oh, no, I love it, brother.
So I used to be able to like go around and sell your excess to dispensaries, and they were just buying it up because they couldn't grow enough to keep up either. Because
Yeah.
people were like, yeah, yeah, it was cool.
That was, but it was completely. I just think it's crazy all the unregulated weed we were smoking. But I guess we've been smoking unregulated weed. We've been regulating it ourselves.
I've always tried to keep mine clean, you know.
But the thing is, if you go sell it to
'cause I
shit,
smoke it.
sell shit. I remember I had a couple plants that worked out like shit. You know what I mean? That was fucking 2009. I just got here. My room wasn't dialed in. And I remember you'd fucking go to a place. There'd be like one dispenser I'd go to. I wouldn't go to my good guy because I don't want to start thinking I'm a shit peddler. You know what I mean?
Just hit the dude with the sniggle fritz.
I never went into the dispensary with it. It was always just black market operations.
Sure.
I mean, it was just putting up in a 4-lighter, back then. Because I'd weigh stuff and be like, okay, wait a minute, I got baby coming. I don't want to have any troubles, And you're like, well, clean record in a 4-lighter, 8-lighter, 10-lighter, whatever. Probably, a little hiccup and some community service is what you'd be looking at. And that's what you'd see happen to somebody that'd be operating for a while and they're like, hey, you got popped. But
Two
no
Jerry
big
Lewis
deal.
telethons,
So
you're
people
good.
really wanted to take advantage. That's where we saw just like, the huge rush of grows and everything setting up and going. I mean, just going crazy. So.
It was about shipping weed across the country back then, though. That's
I never shipped any, but
No, I'm not saying I did by any means. I'm saying that's what fueled this market.
I only gave pounds to friends and other people.
Yeah, there you go, man. Nothing illegal
Gifted.
about that.
Only
sir.
gifted.
Dude, it was like totally gray area legal to sell the dispensaries. That's cool.
Yeah.
I remember they're like, all right, we're going to 1099 you. And I was like, okay. So you're like writing your social down. And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we had an LLC. So it was, the first time I was like, what?
My
And I was like,
mom's
we need
my
to start a company.
accountant. Good shit, man. I just thought it was kind of fun to reminisce and bullshit about,
Yeah,
man.
for sure, man. It's changed a lot. It's crazy.
It sure has. It's gotten corporatized, man. Now everything's under cameras, and it's
Can't even smoke in the grow anymore.
there is something
I know.
wrong with that.
Yeah,
fucked up,
that is
man.
just wrong.
Or technically, we won't get into some details. Anyway, let's take it to your grow style, man. You're a grower, so you've been growing for a while, filming, which is awesome for people. I was motivated to do that with my YouTube channel originally before the podcast because people in Prohibition land can have access to some, education then.
Sure.
But what's you already mentioned you've been running HPS forever, right?
Yep, ran metal halides, just got into LEDs.
You change your bulbs every 6 months?
The HPSs,
It's gonna be like
Could the dude starting from the
pretty
top?
often.
just get technical real
I want
quick
to start
with it.
from the bottom
depends.
up, man.
The bottom.
What's your roots? What's your soil like,
So
man?
I
How
used
big your
to-
containers, man?
I used
How
to
you grow?
so I've grown a lot of different ways.
Okay.
I love hydro.
Is that how you grow now?
No. But
What do you love? Okay, I love the performance of hydro. I feel like it's kind of like the end result is something kind of plasticky. Maybe like
Really,
a
dude?
supermodel with big boobs.
my
That
hydro
means-
was
Yeah, that's what I mean.
chronic,
I
though.
got you. I said a supermodel with big boobs. You know what I mean? But they're fake and they're plasticky.
But I mean, I run the same nutrients that I like. If I were to switch to hydro right now, I'd be running the exact same nutrients. And I grow in cocoa. It's pretty much hydro.
Yeah, cocoa is hydro.
Cocoa is
Absolutely.
hydro.
Absolutely.
So what
Okay.
nutrients do you use then? So you're growing cocoa now?
Yeah.
With what nutrients?
I use Uncle Wiggy's. It's
Okay.
called.
Say
So
your
it's
bud does look fucking, I don't know. It does look like a little like hydro. Yeah.
What up? Uncle Wiggy's. I've never heard of Uncle
yeah.
Wiggy's.
So it's a buddy
like
of
the
mine made this. It's a brand new nutrient company
Never
that
heard
he's
of
rolling out. Uncle Wiggy's Green Cycle, it's called. And so it's a 2-part nutrient. There's an A and a B for veg, bloom, and ripe, right? And then there's a couple additives. It's like a super organic based, like thick, syrupy,
For
almost like
hydro?
molasses.
No, cocoa.
For cocoa.
Is it cocoa specific?
It's similar to.
That's what I'm usually
I
looking
mean,
for.
so you can run it without the organic base.
Yeah.
But dude, I used to put organics. I used to put
You got to put the funk in.
I used to put, what was it? The yellow bottle from GH. Flora.
No, I know what you're talking about.
It's like
the one
super
additive
thick
one.
and syrupy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got like humic acids or something like that. Some
Floralicious Plus, maybe?
Floralicious Plus. I used to pour that in my hydro reservoirs all the time. Like I've always ran organics in my hydro.
Yeah, I've used that stuff before.
It's and that's similar to what it is. It's like
Okay.
like that kind of
Sure.
thing. And so that's the other additive. That's pretty much it. And my buddy started making this like 2-3 years ago. I've kind of helped him dial the formula in by
Nice.
testing it on our gardens.
right.
In exchange for like free nutrients.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
badass. The same.
Take it.
So it was cool, and so now we like kind of teamed up with him we're getting ready to kind of roll some of those out.
Yeah.
He's got
Uncle
license, getting all these licenses, all that stuff.
Is he an uncle? Is that his name?
His Uncle Wiggy. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's actually what we used to grow that Jilly Bean from the Adam Dunn show.
Oh, right on.
Invitational. So
Right on.
was
I
that?
like
And
it,
I've been
man.
rocking those for like 3 years. So that's what I
This is
use.
the show, man. Like old school, it's kind of like I'm just, a simple nutrient, some HPSs. I'm calling this old school because doing the podcast, whatever, we're always trying to keep up on technology and what's going on. But still coming in first at 8. If you guys don't know, that's the Adam Dunn Show Invitational for you listening. And yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I was getting a lot of flavor going in there, but I still don't think anybody can take on my SK Spectrum with trike formation and whatnot. So we're gonna get that comp going sometime.
Let's talk about the Adam Dunn Invitational, man.
He does that annually, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
First one we were part of. So
It was the first one I was a part of. I mean, because he come and hung out at the DGC Cup.
Sure. What do you think you got you guys you got second place? What do you think they're judging on there?
I mean, everything. I don't know. Eventually, I said judging is hard due to the sense of how much you smoke, and we talked about it before in the show.
Right.
I mean,
It's got to be
one
a
hitters or
flavor.
whatever,
But I think you got to just do it on flavor. It can't be how high it gets you. because
yeah.
it's
Oh, dude, you
high.
can't like
Bag
after you've
appeal.
smoked like 14. I was so high that day. I was
Right.
like,
flavor,
Smell.
smell,
Bag
bag
appeal.
appeal, how it looks. The other thing though, which I would have next
Bag appeal
time.
and how it looks.
What I would have next time is I need to get something snazzy for the phone. I know they have plenty out there, but a nice loop, a 30 and 60 times LED illuminated
So
loop.
you can tell how when it's harvested if it was the trichome.
Just to be able to really look in there and be able, it'd be nice if every grower had, and I guess I'm just
smoke is
reviewing.
focus.
Yeah, Smoke is Focus would work great.
They're pretty cool.
To have a nug set aside from each grower that wasn't handled, that wasn't touched by people,
Sure.
that's like that grower's display nug. I think that would help. And yeah, as well as with what we do, I think that'll be awesome to have everything on a little bit of a display. But no, overall, I love just the way it's, I don't know, it's like underground chillax, the way Dunn does his
it was
stuff.
grower judged, which was cool.
Yep.
So like I saw mine come out a few times, and I had to like keep my mouth shut. I was like, whatever one you guys want to vote.
That was weird. That is the weird part about it. Sitting at a table and having your flower come through, and I'd be like, okay, yep.
Yeah,
Because
this
then
one rules. Yeah.
You couldn't say shit.
I
could
know,
you?
right?
well, it's like 4 people sitting at our table, and I think it was at the end, all of you have to agree upon which one stays and
unanimous,
which one goes, which one keeps going around.
Damn, who would have thought Adam Dunn's a diplomat like that? Wow.
Well, it's cool because it forces you to interact with new people you don't know, other growers. Of course, everybody's getting super blitzed,
Right.
Which is not a bad thing. But yeah, it's always good to get 10 competitions to try and come up with ways to do them better. I don't ever want it to get so serious, though, where it's just...
Look, smell, taste.
The more serious it gets as far as... I don't know. You do, but you don't want it to get where people are just like getting too competitive or, I don't know, angry or whatever. We always want to keep it a good vibe, a good time.
Yeah.
Your cannabis is atrocious.
But that being said, I want to enter as many as I can and win all of them, okay?
Dude, that was the first competition I've ever entered.
That's the same as me. I was like, okay.
oh god. And I was looking at, like, I saw some of the ones coming in as they were checking them in because I was kind of hanging out that day. And I was like, I don't have a shot. I was like, these are really good. Like they were.
But that being said, there are others I didn't fully notice that some people took notice on. Hey, that flower actually has. If you look at it closer, dude, there's a nanner in there. Like he had one of those cards. This guy, which are nice. That's actually focused like our people make them magnifying card for your wall.
Fresnel lens or something it's called. Yeah.
It's like, damn, look around, and that was the deciding factor between these two buds. Was that they both tasted, they both blah blah blah. One had a little nanner, which I would never say. I don't care if kind bud smokes and looks great, and it has a little nanner there. Whatever.
I don't even care if there's a seed or two.
I mean, exactly. But since it's a competition setting, you're trying to go down every single. Maybe that'd be my next. I could be a professional.
Some cultures that find beauty in imperfection.
They have. I actually think I might have a picture of the final scorecard on our Instagram.
Yes, we'll have to see if we can throw that in here. Maybe I could be a celebrity judge.
We'll do it in post-production, Justin.
Celebrity judge I'm calling myself a celebrity, which isn't true, but for cannabis competitions.
Celebrity judge. It came out.
Yes.
It came out. Dude thinks he's a celeb, man.
All right, let's get ready to wrap it up a little. I didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to cover or hit.
We're talking about growing styles, right?
Yeah. We were, and then we went into. That's how we roll, though. Just hang out in the studio, smoking a little too much, or Scotty's smoking a little too. Somebody the other day was like, "Scotty looks so high."
Well, it's because I'm high.
I think someone also said you look drunk.
No, never been drunk in studio per se. That's not this show. That's maybe another show we make. But every time I hear people drunk podcasting, I end up apologizing for shit.
Fuck yeah. I tell you, let's wrap this up. We'll go to something that actually has a structure and format, man. We do good with structure, man.
Or thanks for hanging out, guys. Schoolhardnugs.com is your preferred. I mean, you're back up on YouTube, but you're doing everything on your site as well now.
Yeah, just in case, man. Right. You never know.
They broke my heart.
Yeah, so that was brutal. But yeah, we're back up, still posting videos. This will actually go onto our channel as well. This one.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah, man. Love it.
Otherwise, guys, take her easy, stay higher, and that's all I got, man.
Yeah, man. Keep growing. Love it, Justin.